besties, welcome back to Sip and Chat, where we spill the tea on life lessons. Woo! Here is our third podcast.
Our third episode is today.
Yes.
And what is this episode gonna be about?
So, guys, have you ever set a goal and felt excited only to lose the momentum a few weeks later? Like, come on now. You know you started that goal, a fitness goal, at the beginning of the year and stopped going after 3 weeks, like me. Anyway, and why don't you tell them why we have 2 more chairs here?
So today we have 2 more chairs and 2 more microphones sitting with us because we have 2 very special guests that are going to be joining us on our podcast. Y'all can come in.
Join the party.
Yes, very much.
Come on. How's everyone doing?
So as we are all aware of, these, like she said, these are our husbands. Wait, did you say that?
I didn't say we're husbands.
But they're our husbands. This is my handsome husband, Gustavo.
And this is my handsome husband, Hugo.
Yes.
Okay.
¿Para qué no te digan? Anyway, this is like our 5th take, by the way, just because of this man over here and this man over here.
All they do is
I didn't
laugh.
do it, by the way.
But we are here, and this is going to be the one. Yes, we believe it. So, as you know, goals change with the seasons of your life, and I think it's important for us to have our husbands, because as spouse, like as partners, we're supposed to have goals that we can achieve something greater. So we're parents, so we want to achieve something greater for our kids. And then we want to set goals individually and in our marriage and many aspects of life. There's goal setting to be made to achieve something bigger in our lives. So now we're going to go through and we're going to explain what goal setting means to us.
Yes. So, as you were saying, goals is a topic for today's episode. But before we get into it, we want to know what a goal means to each and every one of us. So, starting off, I'll start off with my husband. Hugo, what is a goal to you?
To me, a goal is an accomplishment. Something you want to accomplish in life or whatever. It's something you want to work for that you know is going to be worth working for. It's going to cost you, like the saying goes, blood and sweat. And so, yeah, that.
Okay. What about for you, Gustavo? What does a goal mean?
Yeah, for me, I do want to start off with what isn't a goal. And what isn't a goal is like whenever you say like, hey, I want to reach, I heard you belly there. Like for me, it's like if I want to be healthy. That's not really a goal. That's a wish, right? So for me, a goal is something you can actually measure. So like if you say I want to be healthy, well, what we gotta get specific. Is that going to be I'm going to eat cleaner, a certain amount of calories, right? So something you can actually measure and work backwards from. For me, that's what a goal is.
Okay. And what about for you, Teresa? What is a goal?
For me, a goal is a clear intention of achieving something greater, even when you don't have motivation. Because I can tell you about many times where I'm like, well, I don't want to go outside and walk. I don't want to go to the gym, or many things. I don't want to clean my house.
That's
but
facts.
you know what? You need your house to be clean. Your goal should be you don't want to have animals in here. So, you know, you got to clean it.
It's a good goal to have.
It is.
But anyway, that's besides the point. What about you, Anna?
So for me, a goal is something, like she said, you want to achieve something that you want to do. It's a plan that you're gonna, plan for a process. You're gonna be able to, see, where it's gonna start and where it's gonna end. As you can tell on our Bible verses of the week that we did this week, I was talking a lot about, goals. And one of the things that it said, it's a plan, something that has an action to it, meaning it starts at point A and ends at point B, C, or D. But it has to go from one step to another. So that to me is what a plan is. What does Google say about plans? About goals, my bad.
Well, Google, it was ChatGPT. I said Google earlier. But ChatGPT says that a goal is a clear intention that guides your choices and keeps you moving forward even when motivation fades.
So yes, So I feel like, we've established that we all pretty much understand, what a goal is. We know that it's something that starts and ends, something that we,
Achieve.
that we want to achieve. And I will say there are some goals that we do fail at, but what did we learn out of that process as well?
For sure. And I think that is perfect ending for the next question. So what are our past experiences with goals, whether it be a win or a failure? So we will start with Anna this time.
Okay. So to me, I feel like one of the goals that I struggle with the most is finances. I'm always talking about, at the beginning of the year, I want to save an X amount of money, but I start out fine for the first 2-3 weeks, and then it's kind of like,
Motivation fades.
yeah, it's whatever. But I feel like she says, I don't set up a process of, this is what's going to be done this month, this is how much I have to have this week, and, go forward with it. Like, I don't really have that commitment, and system and able to actually get it done. So for me, that's one of the goals that I'm just struggling with, and I'm hoping that sooner or later I'll be able to achieve a pretty good end goal.
What about you, Hugo?
A goal that I failed.
Or achieved?
Well, this is gonna be funny. Oh yeah, but it's a funny story. Somewhat. When I was younger, I actually wanted to go become a professional soccer player. Like maybe every young guy, whenever they're in their, whenever they're young, everybody wants to become a professional soccer player, and that was one of my goals. That I wanted to practice so hard that I became a soccer player, professional soccer player. So when I was younger, I did, right? I was practicing and everything, and every state has this open trials where you can go try out to become a pro. And I told myself that I wanted to do that. I was going to try out. And when it came to it, I was basically chickened out. I was like, what if I don't make it? Because they charged for you to try out, and I told them, what if I just waste my money? And now I was told myself, I'll try out next year. I'll just keep training and try out next year. And I did, and every year came, and I kept telling myself the same thing. The next year I'll do it. The next year I'll do it. And next thing you know, I'm not that young anymore. So it's a life lesson. You might as well just go ahead and risk it, even if you don't make it on whatever you're trying to do. At least you know you have that that you don't have that what if with you, always bothering you. What if? Because time goes by real quick. When next thing like the saying says, in the blink of an eye, that time goes by real fast.
And he was so close to achieving it once, because he did make it to a tryout. He woke me up early for it too. He did not try out.
That was funny. So we
Dreams died in that parking lot.
We parked in that parking lot, and then I saw younger kids than me. But I was around maybe 27 around there. And then I saw younger kids and a little bit taller than I was. And yeah, and I was like, I am not gonna make it.
Because if you know Hugo, he is short. Like me.
He has a big heart.
Yeah.
I'll tell you that much.
That's what counts. Something about heart is big.
So that matters.
But yeah.
What about you, my handsome husband?
Well, first I want to pay back off something Hugh was saying. I think it's very true. Like whenever you're about to start working on something that you've been wanting to do, the first thing that comes into your mind is like, what if I try and it doesn't happen, right? Or I don't make it. But what if it does? What if the thing that you want to happen actually works out because you decided to do it? And like a lot of things that happen is that one thing that kills goals more than anything else is inaction, right? More than any other circumstances, it's just inaction. Like indecision is a decision. You're making a decision to not do something about your goal. So thank you for sharing that, Juice. It's very good story.
Very good lesson.
Very good lesson, yeah, for sure. But like something I can think about, I remember 4 years ago now, back in 2022, I remember I wanted to start a marketing agency, and I remember I going back to what my definition of a goal is, I was wishing that I could start my own company and really get it going, hopefully retire my parents. But I didn't see any clear steps for me to go and actually accomplish that, how to go land my first customer or whatever the case may be. And long story short, I bought a course to pretty much guide me in that journey. I just didn't stick with it, and then that it just fell through. Didn't continue working on it, and before you know it, like it became a dream that that dream became a wish, right? So yeah, that's a little story there for me.
Okay, and for me, I feel like a goal that I've set for myself. Actually, I was going back off of that, like of a business. I did want to start a business, and I actually did have a business. I was doing very well in a t-shirt making customization business, but I didn't have. I did have clear goals. I actually had a binder filled with sheet protectors, and I put like sheets in there of what I wanted to achieve by this time, but it requires advertising, and I was like, I don't want to do this work, or I don't know how to do this work. So that made me unmotivated to actually go bigger with the business that I was already creating. And I was really good at it, and then I lost the talent because I lost practice. And I think with the fear of trying something that you've never tried, so advertising is not something that I'm not very comfortable with, but going out and expanding my knowledge would have been good, but I just decided to sell my things and give it away. Now that's not one of my goals in this season, but it was at that point, and it could have been something I could have still been doing at this time.
Okay. I mean, goals they can be pretty, exciting, and wonderful and all, but goals can also be pretty scary. I mean, there are goals that make you uncomfortable, that make you step out of a comfort zone.
For sure.
I know for me, this is one of them. Like, I'm not the person who wants to be in front of a video camera. Like, I can talk to you in a small setting group and whatever. But this, exactly, I still remember on our first few takes, it was like nerve breaking. I was like, ooh, I don't like this.
Like,
I know, I was behind the camera.
so yeah, he's a witness that we took like 10 takes that first time.
Yeah, we're getting me right now.
Hey, it was our first time, babe.
Come on.
You're famous already. It's our time to shine.
But yeah, goals, they're opportunities that you're willing to take. And that's the thing is, are you willing to take that opportunity and take that leap of faith and to make something great out of it? Or even if you crash, always remember that you can learn something from that process. There was, I can't remember if it was this last verse that I put up or the one week before last, but it also talks about how God knows what he wants to do in our life. He knows the plans and desires in our heart. He also knows where he wants to set us and where he wants to take us. So sometimes our goals might be something that he does not have for us. It could be that you crash in something, but you don't know if God he's like, no, I didn't want you here, but I want you somewhere else. So take what you learn from it and just keep moving forward. Like, don't ever say, oh, because I didn't achieve this, I can't achieve anything else. Like, no, not everything is for everybody, and that is okay. You will find what is for you.
Yeah, as we had, or I think I mentioned last time that your failures don't define you, and you're not defined by what people think of you. Like, you get to decide who you're gonna wake up and be today. So I don't know, I just had an idea of why don't we go through, maybe since we are married and there are probably people who can relate, that we probably set goals for ourselves as couples that we were not able to achieve. So what about you, Anna and Hugo? We'll start with you guys on what goals have you set as a couple that you guys were not able to achieve, or you guys didn't see eye to eye with, or you did succeed in something?
I think the first goal that we ever really set in motion was buying a house. So I still remember that was one of our main priorities, that before we bought anything else in our life, or like even a car or whatever, we wanted to make sure that we had established that we wanted a home first. And we did. We actually achieved that. I think it was what?
Yeah, it was a year after. We were living in a trailer park.
Mm-hmm.
And I told myself
There's
that
nothing against
Oh,
trailer
yeah.
parks.
Nothing against trailer parks.
We're not going against them.
Yeah. No.
But we didn't always want to pay
Yeah.
rent.
Yeah.
That's our thing.
Humble beginnings.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I forgot what I was saying. But and I told myself if I was gonna stop renting and living there, it was because I'm gonna go straight to purchasing a house, buying a house, and thanks to the Lord, we achieved it the following year. And
That's to celebrate.
Thanks to the people too that helped us in that area too, that gave us a contact to the person
Yeah.
for us to get the house.
Yeah, for real. It was not only just making that goal and us doing it on our own. It did take, help from outside to be able to achieve that goal, because it was through someone else that we made a connection with, other people that we were able to get into that spot and be like, okay. And it was really wonderful. Like I was astonished once we had signed the papers. I just couldn't believe it. I was like, oh my God,
We have our own home.
we have our own home.
There's nothing better than your own privacy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh,
That's
yes.
some truths.
What about y'all? What is the goal that y'all have?
I think it might be similar.
Yeah.
I think getting in the home. So whenever we got married, actually even before that, before we got married, we said whenever we do get married, we do want to save up for we want to have a home when we get married. So we were planning, and gosh, I actually don't remember. Were we married already when we started saving for the house, or was it?
No, so this is how it happened. We actually got married, and then we got pregnant shortly after. So we got engaged, married, and pregnant in the same year. So it was March, June we got pregnant. Well, I found out I was pregnant July, and then we got married in May.
Yep, we got married in May.
So we got engaged in March, married in May, and then pregnant by July. And this was all in 2024.
Yep.
And then before we got married, we were like, well, let's start thinking about how much we're going to put aside to be able to give a good down payment on a house. And whenever I moved in with him after we got married, I was like, okay, well, let's start. We're both working, and we set a really good goal. We saved a pretty good amount of down payment, and we were able to put that on the house.
But kind of the thing behind it is that we had to say no to a lot of things.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
We had to go. I like to call it, and we call it the season of no. Is a season of saying no to everything
Yes.
that doesn't take you closer to that goal. So
A
not a priority, yeah.
like cars, whatever that may be. The only thing we did say yes to was going on a trip to Barcelona. And the reason why we decided to do that is because we knew we knew we were having twins at that point. We knew whenever they're born, traveling's not going to be much. There's not going to. It's going to be very
not a
different. It's not going to
possibility.
be the same. So we said, you know what? Let's schedule a flight let's go to Barcelona. I've always wanted to go to Spain. So let's just go. Let's do it. And that's exactly what we did.
Fun.
But apart from that, there was beans and rice and beans. That's what we had to pretty much eat, right? So that way we can accomplish our goal.
And we actually saved a pretty good amount of a savings emergency funds.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, wow, I learned this all from church and from some videos that my husband and I watch, that we have to set those goals to be able to achieve. Because at one point, after you buy a house, after you have kids, you feel like you don't have no more money. I just feel like everything's just going fast because you have to purchase furniture.
Yes.
We didn't have
Furniture is not.
We didn't have couch. It's not cheap.
No, it's not.
We didn't have a couch. We didn't have a TV. We didn't have nothing. So we had
No
to.
decorations either.
We had to invest in all of that. And I'm a very big. I need to feel at home when I'm here. I don't want to feel like I'm in jail just looking at blank walls.
To give you an idea, we had 2 or 3 Amazon boxes being dropped off just about every single day. Like she was competing with our neighbors.
Our neighbors still to this day, I see the Amazon UPS people over there like 3 times a day. I am telling you.
Yeah, and I told her you're competing with them because you're just different boxes.
And honestly, at that point, it became like an addiction. I was like, can I buy this and this and this and this? And then I was like, okay, you know what? He had to talk with me. He was like, you can't be buying the whole world. I was like, okay, we won't. But yeah, that was a goal that we were able to achieve, and now we are here.
Yeah, and as you can, hearing from him, it's funny when they were talking about, like, there's a lot of things you had to say no to. Like, it's a process.
Yeah.
Like, it really was, because, I mean, we felt that, like, it was like, dang, it's not that we didn't want to buy a new car. It
Or
was
you don't want to help out.
it's like, it's just that right now, we really want to move out of this, area or season of our life, and we want to have this new season. So enabled to do that, it's like, okay, you're just gonna have to take a deep breath and be like, no, I can't do this right now. This is not the priority. Or like he said, sometimes resort to rice and beans, and it's like, it's okay. There's nothing wrong with it. It's not, bad or anything. It's just in that moment, we knew that was what our goal was, and we were going to achieve that. So, I mean, goals take sometimes a little bit of time, or they can take a long time, and they do take a process, and it can be, a very hard process sometimes.
I feel like you become a different person through the goals that you're trying to achieve. And it's like, talking to my husband the other day, he was like, you have to become a different person to achieve different goals in your life. Mm-hmm. And honestly, you do have to deny yourself and be like, well, if I'm gonna be stubborn, how am I gonna achieve anything? I have to change my mentality. I have to set forth that determination to be like, well, I've gotta do what I gotta do to get there.
That's true. The identity, I think that's the biggest thing. A lot of people like to set their goals based on outcomes. Yeah. Like I know I've reached my goal whenever I've done X, Y, or Z, but I think also to make sure a goal can become long term, because I feel like that's really the goal, is for your goal to be like your long term life. But it's also like thinking about who you're going to become whenever you're setting a goal, working towards your goal. I know if I'm going to be I cannot say like, if I want to be healthier, I can't say I am going to be healthy. That's just like that's an outcome you're looking for. But whenever it comes to setting up a real goal, you have to make sure it aligns with that identity. So now you're going to be saying, I am a healthy person, right? So like you're putting your identity in your goal, right? So I think that's a very important piece of it.
And also being aware of your identity and what you have at the moment, because sometimes, like you said, we put out goals that we like wishes. I wish to be this and that, but do you have this right now? Mm-hmm. Have you done this yet? Mm-hmm. And it's like for instance, like me, I wanted to, be a teacher by this time, but did I have my certificates? No. Had I started school? No. Had I even applied to school yet? No. So how can I sit there and expect this end goal if I haven't even done what is the pre-work to get there?
Yeah, I think identity is very important, because growing up, I tell my husband this story all the time, where I was literally, my goals were everybody else's goals. I was just like, hey, you know what? You're going to be a nurse? All right, let me be a nurse too. Oh, you're going to do, what's it called, notary? I'm going to do that too. Nail tech? Okay, let's do it. I mean, I'm trying to figure out who I am. And I think that's a very important part of finding out the goals that you need to set for yourself, is finding out who you want to be. Because if you don't, you will be taken by the wind. As we talk, I think that's a motto that we say like in every video. But taken by the wind is something I love to say, because if you allow yourself to be taken by the wind, you're gonna be thrown in every direction except the direction that you have for yourself. And that doesn't fulfill you. That doesn't make you happy. You choose your happiness. You choose to be successful. You choose to be determined. You choose to be motivated. When you choose that, you don't allow anything to shape what you need to do.
There are a lot of goals and things that we want to achieve in life, but seasons change. So, there's a lot of goals that we wanted at one point of our life that maybe nowadays isn't the goal that that's a priority. So tell me, how has goals changed in your seasons of life right now?
I'm gonna get this one first.
You got it.
All right. So first of all, I do like to live my seasons and my life in seasons. Right. It's very important because things change. Like think about it. Whenever you were in high school, you had a lot of friends around you, and after you graduated, a lot of those folks are you no longer see them. Probably don't even talk to them anymore. And that's kind of like the reason why is because in that season you guys had one common goal, is to graduate. But now you have another goal, and you have to align your life with that new goal. So I think whenever we got married, our goal was to just have a house and then just build from there. But then whenever we're like, oh shoot, we're having twins. Okay, there's things change. So now it's no longer okay. Let's build a life for us as a marriage. But now we have to think about okay. Now we have to build a life for ourselves. Yes, still as a marriage, it's super important, but also building our lives for our kids as well. Make sure they have a happy home. They feel the warmth. They feel that we're there with them. I think there's one word you like to say, being there present.
Yeah.
Being present with it, I think that's super important. And at the same time, as we're trying to build these things, I mean, we have a lot of things that we're working on as well. You're focusing on going to school as an esthetician, but then also building a business outside of our full times. And I think that's there's a lot of things that we have to be able to balance. But I mean, a lot of priorities now have shifted. Whereas back then, it was just like, okay, well, we'll just take it day by day.
For sure.
Yeah.
So for me, I feel like my priorities shift in the goal settings because, like you said, we are young, we are careless, we are free of many responsibilities in life where we don't have to think about many other people, just ourselves. And we're working to try to get ourselves a car, to eventually have a spouse, to eventually, have the house, the car, all the beautiful things, right? And I think that the priorities shift from you to the people around you. For example, now my priority is my husband and my kids to be able to create a home, because it's we have a house, but how do I create a home where everybody can feel love, can feel joy, can feel peace, can feel the sense of not community, how do you say it, like a
Commitment.
Togetherness of where you're just together and you know that you're there for one another. And I think that's one of my biggest goals, to when people come here, they feel showered with love. And one thing that has shifted to me is to be a better server, to be a better, giving to other people. As to where when I was younger, I was like, how can I benefit from the things that I'm doing or from the people that I have around me?
Okay.
Yeah. What about you, Anna?
I feel like for me, I feel like I did things backwards. Just because, I did get married, second year, senior year, second semester of my senior year. So I graduated after I was married. I did everything after I was married. So it was a lot of learning. I think for me in my first few was kind of learning who I was. And it was a little bit hard because I didn't understand that they were different goals in a marriage compared to having a goal to myself. Because I still had that I mentality when I was married, and I wanted to achieve what I wanted.
But I back that up.
Second that.
That was good, Anna. That was good.
That was a hard season for me.
It was really hard. So I feel like once I started to, really sit down and understand that it wasn't just about the things that I wanted to achieve in my life, the things that I wanted to go to school for, that I wanted to hang out with friends, and I wanted to go out and do this and do, other things. It was a lot of me kind of goals. I didn't realize that me was no longer there. I was married. It meant that we had goals in life. And I felt like it took a lot for me to get there, but I did have people in my life that would always tell me, hey, I know that you're young, but you have to understand that you can no longer just think for yourself. Like, this is not a benefit for you. It has to be a benefit for the both of you. You have to sit down with him and talk and understand that y'all have to come to common ground and think of the steps that you want to take for the future. As of now, you know, once we got there, we were able to plan for a house. We had that season, we got there, you know, we did it. Then we got, you know, our car. Then from there we did that, and then I started focusing on, you know, going to school, like, which I'm still in that season. It's been a pretty long road, y'all. Pray. I'm almost over it. But, you know, it's a season that we're doing now, and I feel like a season that we have been, you know, traveling into right now is preparing for the future, like if we have kids, because, you know, we see that, oh, y'all had twins. I was like, oh, okay.
You want twins? Here you go.
That seems pretty expensive. Like,
oh yeah.
Like you think about that. So
you know, Medicaid's going away.
We
Food stamps
never
going away.
got Medicaid.
No, we
We
didn't.
never got Medicaid.
I wish.
yeah, so those are seasons that we're in now that we're kind of starting to, you know, plan goals for in case this happens. You know, we have to have our finances straight. You know, that's one of the biggest things that we have been working towards, like, you know, paying off debt, paying off whatever we have, you know, that we have to pay, and making sure that we have a funding that in case something happens the day of tomorrow, we're okay. We're like, okay, it's fine. We have this saved up. We can use this and it's okay. I feel like that's something that we have been kind of putting a goal towards right now.
Yeah.
Mr. Barrios, what can you say?
Well, we're not much of a talker, so y'all gotta have patience with me. I'm an introvert. And
Okay.
I'm married to an extrovert. So,
Oh.
but how priorities change my goals? Well, that's the question, right?
Yes.
Well, as a man's perspective, now I would have to actually worry about getting the bills straight, working to pay the bills. Have to worry about basically have to worry about maintaining a home economically. So like, and then we go back to that soccer story, right? I couldn't be like, I can't go to work because I gotta train to become a professional soccer player. I couldn't do that. And when I got married, I actually have to think I gotta go work more or find a way to go work tomorrow somewhere. Even if one place didn't have any, I would have to find another place, another way to get an income, because that became my priority now, to actually maintain a household.
Bills don't wait, y'all.
Yeah, they don't. And yeah, that's how it changes goals. I mean, you eventually come around back to your goals. Don't overdo your stuff that you get too busy, or sometimes we add so much stuff to us that we forget about our goals. And sometimes we add stuff that it's not even really a priority. We just add them to ourselves and we forget about our actual goals. And we just see second things as our thinking we are priority. We make them a priority, which they don't have to be. And we cannot accomplish our goals if we get rid of some of the stuff that's not actually our priorities.
Yeah, I like what Hugo said right there. I feel like a lot of the times we make goals and we don't achieve them because we replace it with busyness instead of actually intentional work to actually get to our goals.
Yes.
So we're busy and busy and busy doing things that are not taking us to our goals. So I think busyness doesn't always mean that you're being productive.
Come on.
Mm-hmm.
That's facts.
So just keep that in mind. Like you can do many things in life, but if they don't make you better, if they don't take you to the place you want to be or the person you want to become, try to leave them out. If they're not that important, leave them out.
That's some facts. And that kind of goes back to like the thing of being intentional with your goals.
Oh,
Yes.
Because if you're intentional, there's a lot of things that will come along and be like, it's going to be calling for your attention. But
Yeah.
if you have your goal set, you know exactly what steps you need to take.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be very hard to derail you.
Yeah. Yeah, you know what fits in your schedule. Like, you know what fits in your timeline.
Don't overdo yourself is another thing. Like, I think that's one of our biggest problems as human beings. We think we can take on everything, but we really can't. Like, you also need your rest. You also need a moment where you need to unwind and relax. Sometimes we set so many goals and things that we have to do that we burn out so quickly and we don't achieve things for the very same reason. So I feel like that's another thing that we also have to watch out for. That if you're building a goal, also think about, okay, do I have that time to build this goal right now? Or is it a goal that I might have to push on for a little bit later once I can clear my table?
Yeah.
Being realistic.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Being realistic with yourself.
Yeah, I think that's very important. Being realistic versus setting realistic versus unrealistic expectations for yourself.
Yes.
So knowing what you can actually achieve in the amount of time that you set for yourself, because then you create burnout.
Very much. I feel like
Dun, dun, dun. I feel like we've all been through burnout. We felt that one, didn't we?
Yes, we did.
Well, let's go around the table and say what has burnt us out, and what we feel like was realistic that was unrealistic in that time. Start with you, Anna.
All right. For me, in all honesty, is where I go back to having so much on your plate or on your table that you don't have time for anything. I'm a very, okay, yeah, sure, whatever, I'll do it. I am not realistic about that. I do not have 24 hours of the day to myself to be able to do everything. I don't take in, I guess I'm not very well with time. I tend to like,
Forgive me.
I tend to be like, yes, I can do this. Yes, I can help you with this. Yes, let's work towards this goal. Yes, I can work on this goal. But what I don't realize is I don't have the time for it. I have priorities that I have to take care of. For instance, one of my priorities is I do have to be home. I do have to make sure that my house is, working and going. I can't just be gone all day, not do anything at home, and not have stuff prepared for whenever my husband gets home from work. Because especially over the summer, it's long hours that he's working, and it's not fair that he's out there doing all that, and then I'm over here chasing all these goals, making all these things happen, but I didn't do anything in my household. So for a while, it used to be that I would take on so much. I would just add on and pile on and pile on and pile on. And I burned out so bad because it got to the point where I was like, I don't want to do this anymore. And if you know me, I'm the type of person that I will help and do whatever you ever want. I mean, I'm there. Like, you can count on me for anything.
Your own goals out on.
Yeah. So I'm very bad at not taking care of the goals that I need to have to be able to succeed. And it's okay to say no sometimes. And that's why I feel like for me, that was one of the things that one of the goals, that just trying to say yes to everybody, or try to, unrealistically, please everybody. I always try to be like a pleaser, I guess you can say. So that really got me in a lot of trouble. And then I started realizing that I wasn't achieving, my goals of, going to school because of it, or I wasn't, taking enough time to do homework and stuff like that. And I mean, let's be realistic. How am I supposed to pass my test if I didn't study, or if I didn't do the work for it? Like, dang, you didn't study, but you were out there helping doing this, but you didn't do this. So realistically speaking, it's not the class, it's not the teacher, it's you. You were the problem. So now, this is the consequence. And it really did cause a huge burnout in my life, where I just didn't want to do anything anymore. And I kind of wanted to be like, I'm done. Kind of thing.
Done with life.
Yes.
What about you, Hugh?
Same as Anna. That's my wife, Anna.
I almost was not his wife, y'all.
Beautiful wife, Anna. It goes back to that we say yes to everything, and in the end, we have so much that we don't even know what to do anymore, and we burn ourselves out for saying yes too much. So that's all.
Okay.
That is so true.
I feel like for me, a burnout was a period in my life where I had I promise you 5 crashes in 2 years. That was bad, because I would go 40 minutes from work, from my house, 20 minutes to my job. I would work, train people. That was a burnout in itself. And then go to church, come back to church. It's like 40 minutes that way, 40 minutes back. Get home like at 3 in the morning, 2 in the morning sometimes, because we're at church, and then go do the whole loop again. And I feel like, oh, I was also in school at that time. I was also at school. I would go from work to school to church, back home. Yeah, that's how it was. And that was just a crazy time for me. I feel like I would black out while I was driving, and then like all of a sudden I was in the ditch. It was crazy. It was like a time period where I was paralyzed, and I was just living by other people or through other people. And I was like, why am I trying to please so many people, and I'm hurting myself in the meanwhile? And that's why you do have to learn how to let go of things that are hurting you more than helping you.
Yes.
I think there's empty priorities that we have in our lives that we set as priorities that don't really need to be there. And God has a good way of getting your attention with that.
Oh yeah, he does.
After 5 crashes, I was like, you know, God, let's
I hear
get something
you.
out of this, and now I'm here. I'm grateful that none of them took my life, but I learned a lot from those crashes in that time period that I was living.
Yeah.
What you were saying about a routine, sometimes we do a routine burnout. That all we do is the same thing over and over again, and then we get burnt. Sorry, sometimes I speak in Spanish. So because we do the same routine, and we don't change it, so our mind is always the same thing, and that's how we end
It's
up
like
burning.
a song on replay.
Yeah. That's how we end up burning. If you listen to a song every time, you get tired of it.
That's
Eventually, and that's sometimes what happens to us too. We do a routine burnout.
You become that background music at the end of the day.
But shout out to the people that let me borrow their car to go to church still. And the people who would pick me up, aka my husband. He'll pick me up.
All the time. Yeah, that burned me out.
That wasn't burnout for him. He would go like an hour that way, an hour back to go
I would go and pick up other people too.
Yeah, not just me.
But I think I've narrowed down what burns most people out, and I'll only speak from it like for myself. But what burned me out a lot is whenever I was working towards goals that weren't mine, right?
Yes.
So like I remember in 2022, there were a lot of things I was working towards that just weren't my goals, but rather it was people or things putting things on my plate and me saying yes, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then letting that guide my year. And before I realized, I was pretty much burnt out from going to church pretty much every single day.
Yeah.
And this is not to say this is not a knock for people who are in church every single day at all. Like, you guys do what you want to do, really. But for me, my goal was not to be in church every single day, because there's a lot of things that were being dropped on the side. Like, I can focus on other things, like with my family. There's a lot of birthdays that I missed with my family. And really what snapped me out of it was whenever my brother passed away. And then I realized I am missing the point of really what God is wanting to do in my life, and not just trap me in 4 walls, but really be a voice for Him, right? But then moving ahead from those years where I did feel burnt out, I disconnected from being in church every single day, that's for sure. But I realized that there's so much more to life than just being there, and there's so much more with what God wants to do with us than just being there. So spending time with my family, starting a business, being with my wife, right, being with my kids, I think that's like super important. And yeah, don't let other people
Run
put
your
goals
life.
for you. Yeah.
They run your life.
Yes, it
Yeah.
do.
So, sorry.
No,
What were
I'm
you
sorry. I do like where he was talking about, like times, like things that you miss in life and everything. There is a verse in the Bible that does talk about that there is a time for everything. And even the Bible states that, like, there's a time to be born, there's a time to die, there's a time to celebrate, to be joyful, So there's a time for everything, and we must understand that every season is different. It might not be your season to, be out there and like we say, like being at church every single day. Maybe it's not that season yet. You need to prioritize, you know, taking care of your home, taking care of everything, so that when you do want to do that season in your life, not everything on the side is falling apart because, you know, you're just doing this. So there's a time for everything, y'all.
For sure. And I think one thing of why we can't achieve things is because we compare ourselves to a lot of people around us.
Isn't that some facts?
Yes, it is.
We compare, like, why do they have a better car? Or we make it materialistic whenever we don't focus on who we are inside, which...
Ooh, that's so true.
Yeah.
Yes, I feel like we could be, you know, dying inside. We could be, I don't know, feeling like we're worthless, but yet we're over here focusing on the materialistic things. We cannot compare ourselves to others.
That's so true, because like I think there's like one saying that I heard somebody say, well, I forget who it was, but I've really held this very close to me whenever I see other people succeeding, and I'm happy for them. But also it's this, that not everyone has it as good as they make it out to.
Yes.
Not
Yes.
everyone. There's always something going on behind the scenes. Like if you have a new car, perfect. That's good for you. But it's not as good as you make it out to be. You know, you think about it. Like whenever somebody posts something on social media or anywhere really, they're only showing the highlight reel of what their life looks like, but not that every day to day. You look at their day to day, you're gonna be like, oh shoot, I actually don't want that life.
Yeah.
That's true.
I mean, we have a friend right now that she has, you know, graduated at a very young age from school with her bachelor's degree and everything. And I've heard comments here and there sometimes where, you know, she's like, I have friends that compare, like, you're there already and I'm not. And she said, but what they don't realize is I don't do anything but study. I go from the library to my house, back to the library, maybe get lunch, maybe not, have to go take a class, come back home, have to go back for another class. So this has been my life for the last 3 years.
Yeah.
And I'm like, ooh, kudos for you, because I could not.
Couldn't be me.
But like on the other side of that, I like to think about it this way too. Like whenever you see other folks like accomplishing great things, like succeeding in life, right? There is that trade-off that goes unseen. There's that trade-off. Like you mentioned, your friend who's, you know, who's what's she doing? Bachelor degree or something like that.
Yeah, well, she already got hers. I don't know what else she's doing now. I can't remember what she.
Look at me lying.
Yeah.
Like, I'm gonna be honest. She tells us all the time, but I can never remember. But I'm very proud of her. That's
I know
what
you out there
amazing.
listening. Let us know.
Yeah.
Comment it, girl.
But like even for us, like getting a business off the ground, like, you know, like there's a lot of late nights. There's a lot of late nights. There was a lot of things that I had to do at night. There was long days where she had to spend with the boys in order for.
And I was like, when are you gonna come home?
When are they gonna come home? When they're gonna build? And sometimes, like even in here, working from home, like I had to just be locked in, and it was for that season. And you know, it just goes to recycle. But like, there's a lot of things that go unseen.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, there's a lot
That's
of crash
why
outs.
you don't know the demons they have to face. You don't know the sacrifices they have to make to be able to get there. They are making it because they made it happen. They closed their eyes to the world and they put their best foot forward and work towards it. And, you know, there might be some people who do have appearances where they do have many things, but you don't know if they have food to eat on their table, you know? Or
That is so true.
I will be honest, when I was younger, that car that I crashed like 5 times, I shouldn't have bought it. I was not in the position. I was paying it on time. I was paying my insurance. My insurance as a new driver, you know that's expensive. And so that was basically my whole check. You know, I wasn't getting the greatest amount of check for the amount of bills that I had, which was just the insurance and the car. I was like barely making it by. But people were like, oh, thank God you finally have your car. And I was like, yeah, you don't know.
Yeah, I know a lot of people do not see that. I know I would get a lot of, especially right now with school, they're like, oh, you're so lucky you get to, you know, do this and do that. And I'm like, yeah, I don't feel so lucky every day, especially whenever I had that 10-minute, you know, crash out session where I sat there and screamed at the walls because I feel like I failed my test. Like you're not there to see that. Like it's bad. Because there's moments like there's a moment where I'm sitting there just like, oh my God, what did I do? Oh my God, why did I even take this class? I should have just thought about doing something else. But I'm like, once you see that class, especially at the end of the semester, y'all, I will say when I passed that class, I sat there and cried and I said, yes, thank you, Lord. Because honestly, I was at the point where I'm like, Lord, just to see, I don't care no more.
See your way out. But yes, so there might be a part 2 because we're getting close to an hour and we don't want to bore you.
Yes.
So we'll have a part 2 coming to you soon. Thank you for tuning in with Sip and Chat. Until next time. Bye.
Bye.
If y'all want us back, like and follow.
Oh yes, please.
Please.
Like and follow. Let's go. All right.